So now I'm ready. Today we'll talk about how could we boost our development with XCTest infrastructure. So agenda is like this. I'll briefly explain the issue. So where we actually could boost our development. Then I briefly mention common approaches for this. And after this, I'll present my own way for this. It's interactive unit test and explain some details about this method. So the issue sounds quite easy. When we develop something, it's often takes a lot of time to reach the module or the screen that's where I actually currently develop. It could be some payment feature, maybe it could be some promo that requires really a lot of steps to reach it. And here we always spend time to run the app, maybe pass login, maybe we need sign up, then do some stuff in the app, and only after this we reach our screen. It's each time it takes time. Each time it requires maybe some minutes, maybe more. Yeah, that's why we could do better with this. And for common approaches, how could we deal with this? Yeah, last time I explained our experience with micro apps. So actually, that's the thing that could help you to start to have like a micro app that will start exactly on your screen that you currently develop. So if you have maybe a separate module for your feature, then you could have a micro app for it and start exactly from your screen. And here example of our micro apps, not so many, but already 4 additional apps to our main. Another thing that could help us with this could be Playground. Last time I was asked about approach from Freepoint. They also talked about some micro apps in their architecture. To be honest, I haven't found anything about micro apps, but found their approach with Playground. They also have probably some presentation about development through Playground. So Playground could be also an approach for this. So you have in your project, you have Playground, special Playground that could show your screen exactly in the state that you need. And here, yeah, one of example from our app. And probably the last method that I would like to show is a common approach. So it's previews from Swift UI. So you could have provide special state of your screens as a previews. You could see them in how they work, how they look like in different screen, different iPhones, and could easily switch between them. So this could be also a method. How could you achieve your screen directly without any additional steps? And this way save a bit of time to development. I would say that all these methods are not so accessible for all projects. Micro apps could require good architecture like these modules. So for Playground, you need probably Swift UI better to have Swift UI project. For Playground, also you need some additional stuff for your project. And it's not always sounds so good and so practical for maybe for small and more simple projects. In this moment, you could use my method with interactive unit test. So what's it? The idea quite simple. So it's a usual unit test where we just wait a lot of time. So we create in terms of XCTest, we create expectation and running wait for quite a long time. And this time we could put new window on our screen. over our app, and in this window show our screen that we are currently working on. So to explain how it really works, we should recall like first the unit test. Currently it could be a bit different, but still main and simplest probably unit test was working with host application, and they worked this way, like your app start as it usual do it, and after it, when your app fully started, then all your tests running in main queue, one after another, right over your application. So you over the lifetime of main app, you could see this short test. And so somebody could do some optimization for this, have some condition in the app at the first step of the launch that could help you to short the lifetime of the app. So like your app won't do anything, and this could help you to avoid any concurrence between your tests and your main app. So avoid any conflicts here. And now imagine that we have not many tests, but just one. And this test works not so short time, that's it usually do, but really long time. And during this time, we could present this window and see our UI. We could check how it works, how button works, and put some text, see animation that we have here. So try it as it as we usually do it in with our simulator. And the topic was like how we boost it with XCTest infrastructure. So with XCTest, with XCTest support in Xcode, for each test we have these starting points for each test. And this way, you can have not only one interactive test, but many of them. So one test could show your screen with without data. Maybe you have a special case when you have no data. Maybe you need to show something. Another test could be with a lot of data. All fields are have like all names are require more lines, and so the whole screen is full. Maybe you have a long scroll, something like this. So you could have many tests with different cases for your app, and with this XCTest infrastructure, with these green points that allow you to run different tests, you could easily switch between them and see that everything that's you made, works okay, or see that here's an issue and you could easily fix it. And when you are working on one of these state of your app, so you could easily restart the test with this magical hotkey of Command Alt Shift and G. Yeah, so if you change the codes, rerun it, see the results, repeat it. So this could be quite convenient. So with this infrastructure, we with this starting point of test, we have actually multiple entry points. Also, good thing in compare of common approaches. Here you're working in a test environment. That's why all mocks that you maybe already have in your project, they are here, and these mocks could support you to show your screen, because usually all screen after first one, after splash, maybe after login requires some additional data, and with mocks you could fulfill this data and easily show your screen. And other way, if you don't have tests in the project, all mocks that you'll create for this test, they could also easily be used with other usual unit tests. So this way you help each usual unit test and interactive tests help each other. And another good option, that's you are in test environment. That's mean all what you do here, all your hacks to show these screens, they are safe from production, so you don't change your main app, and you are safe that you'll maybe not today, but tomorrow finally commit it, push, and it could maybe suddenly pass the review, and then only on a regression test, okay, will say, hey, something wrong here. We need to rebuild it, fix the bug, and this could delay your release. Also good thing of this approach that's it has very low requirements. So to have this interactive test, you don't need Swift UI as you need it for previous. You don't need to create some additional stuff like playgrounds or this additional project for micro apps. It also could work without special framework. So even if you don't have any modularization, you don't need to create these frameworks for mocks or for tests. Yeah, so it could work very easy. And even if your projects are not in Swift, so if you have still a lot of stuff in Objective-C, even in this case, it could work for you because it's really very easy. Create expectation and weight it. And you could also do this not only in Swift, but in Objective-C. Not so big difference. So this way, this approach very good for simple projects when you have only an app and actually test for them. In that situation, these interactive tests are just a couple of more tests in your test suite, and that is, and that's it, nothing more. And even in bad case, if you have really bad project, I don't know, maybe you got it from some outsourced company that's just finished it and can support, yeah, the color here meaning something. So could be, everything could be bad here, maybe no tests. So imagine it, yeah, you could recall the worst example that you already have. Even in this state, still this interactive test could help you, because it's not necessary that your test really holds all presentation of this new screen of your own screen. Maybe if you create this test over your app, you could use it as an additional access point to your app. So the place where you could call something else to show some part of your app. For example, you're working on promo, and in that case, you don't need to really reproduce all the conditions for this promo in your app, because quite often promo could depend on different conditions, like you need to do something in the app and go from one screen to another, something like this, and you should be already in the app like a day or more. Yeah, this way, in this test, you could just call the method that shows something that you already have in your main app. And this way, with this additional access point, you could skip all this additional step and actually with this test, start with this with proper screen. Of course, not everything perfect here with it. There is still at least two drawbacks. The first one, it's technical thing. So this this approach requires unit test with host application. In case of modularization, when you have a lot of frameworks, when you have something like feature frameworks, quite often that's in these frameworks you could have unit tests, but you don't actually have an app, and then you couldn't use this framework as a host app because you really need an app, and in that case you need maybe example or micro app, or maybe you could move it to your main application and do it this way. But it's still not so convenient how it could be with your usual unit test. And another stuff, it's not a technical thing, yeah, but still I use this approach maybe already 2 years, and yeah, feel this issue that's even with all this promotion, with all these benefits that's you could have with fast access to your screen, with fast access to edge cases of your module, still developers not fully, colleagues not fully understand the approach, and very often avoid to use it. Yeah, and I think still the main reason, like the shortest way is the one you know. So it sounds a bit risky. That's why still people prefer to start the app from first screen and pass all the steps, reviews all the stories. Yeah, and this way check the state. And then let's proceed to some details how it could be implemented to avoid different obstacles. So quite evident that these interactive tests in the raw idea sounds like a CI killer. So if you have these long waits on the unit test, so probably your CIs will be broken, your pipelines won't finish or will be always with timeouts. So definitely this interactive test could work on CI. And so to rescue the CI, we need a couple of features for this unit, for this interactive test. So it should on CI it should run without this wait, and also it's quite important to make it runnable. So it should be possible to run it with the wait, but without any code changes. Because if we do it with code changes, again, that's one day we'll commit these changes and we'll be really disappointed. That's because of this test, we broke something and maybe again delay the release. So it's better to avoid these changes. And so it shouldn't work on CI, but should work on developers' Xcode. So it should be quite easy for developers to run. And solution for this could be actually breakpoints. So this test could be something like this. We have some variable, some Boolean. This will check. So before check, we'll show actually our screen. This window that's could show some controller, or it could be like host controller for Swift UI. Yeah, then we check this condition. And only after check, we decide would we like to wait or we better skip this wait. And with breakpoint, we could use debugger command, like the command E. And with it, actually change the variable. So this actually could execute some lines of code from your app. And this way we could change this variable in different values. So it was false. Now it's true after the breakpoint. And this way you enter in the condition. And of course, we want, it does make sense to wait for these breakpoints. It does make sense to stop on them. That's why we could automatically continue after these sections. And of course, with this variable, Swift compiler won't be happy, because here the variable that's never changes sounds not so good for Swift. That's why instead of simple Boolean, I use some kind of wrapper, this debug switcher. So it's actually wrap this Boolean and have two methods, one to check that our switcher is on, and another one to actually enable the switcher. So in breakpoint, we could just say that's switcher enable, and that's it to pass in the condition. So if we'll see in some real interactive test, you could see that this first part where we show our screen, it's safe for CI, so you could easily run it on your usual unit test run. And these second parts could work on in Xcode. So when you put this breakpoint on the line of condition, this way you could enable this long wait and check actually what you have on the screen, how it works, is everything okay, or hear the bug and fix it. The good, nice bonus of this test, that's so you have a lot of stuff here in this test. You use your view. Probably you need some basic logic for this use. So all your view models or interactors or whatever, it could be also used here. Maybe you need to just replace your network services, maybe some storage. That means that in this interactive test, you use really big parts of your module. And that's why if you have only this interactive test, if you run it even without wait, you could see that's code coverage quite big, could be even over than 50%. Yeah, it's as an example, I passed some projects for interviews, and in that case, it was a nice option when I just started to write, actually working with tests. I see the test coverage and see that's really, it's already big. Maybe there's nothing more to test, already everything covered. Yeah, but still need to add something, need to not scare the other part. And another good side effect that's with this test, if you really use it, you could feel these benefits. So that's you could really save your time to reach the screen. And also in edge cases when you need to deal with quite usual situation for me, you're working on the feature and it interacts with backend, and of course there is some edge cases when backend could return you some errors, and nobody knows how to reproduce this error. How could you get this error from backend? And with this test, you could just replace your network service with the mock, emulate these errors, see how it works on your side, check that's everything okay. So it works much easier than try to emulate it a different way, try to hack your backend, or and at the same time keep your production code safe. So when you feel these benefits, it's give you the feeling that these tests are not only good stuff that's already everybody talking about, like that's promoted in the books, but you really feel that it helps you. It's really like a tool for development, and then you prefer to use it. And for this interactive test, you need to write mocks, so to present actually your screen. And when you have mocks, it gives you better condition to actually write unit tests, because you already have mocks. Probably to show your screen, you also need maybe to improve your project somehow to make it easier to show the screen, maybe remove some dependencies. So these provide much better situation for unit tests. So it's easier to actually write them, add them to your project. And as a result, you get much better architecture for your project. Yeah, on this point, let's summarize what we have here. So this interactive test, it's very easy and cheap stuff. So it's very easy to add it in any project, no matter is it good or bad. Yeah, and with this, you could really short your way to your modules. And this why simplify development. Yeah, and just show you, it provides really nice side effects with this test coverage. Yeah, and final stuff, I recommend to try it. So try, don't, please don't go every time from through all these screens. Don't spend your time. You could use it much better as a developer. So that's it. If you have a question, I haven't answered. Yeah, we're switching on microphones. This funny stuff. Yeah, exactly. So when you run unit test in with the host application, so in last version of Xcode, there is an option that you could switch host application off, so run a unit test without it. But with a host application, this unit test runs really in simulator. So you could see that UI is showing on the screen if you do something in unit test. And if you have pause, you still could try to click in simulator and it will work. Independently from all other stuff. And at least it already could be used for snapshot. If you have snapshot testing in the project, so this part could be easily used for snapshot. So you show your screen in some conditions, so empty state or filled state, and you just could deliver it to snapshotting framework, and it's already the test. Yeah, so probably that's a quite common thing for this approach when people hearing like here the some tests in iOS project and you could see UI and try to click. Sounds really like some hacked way to do UI test, but actually no. So if you use XC UI test, in that case, the codes that work in UI test, it's really independent from your main app. So you don't have any shared memory here. And that's why if you want to use any mocks, you need some way to provide them. Because in UI test, you always run your app and nothing more. You need to, if you want to have something special for your UI test, then you need some backdoors or something like this that will do something additional inside your app. Otherwise, it's just usual app, and you could in the UI in XC UI test, you could do only the same as a user, so nothing more. That's why in environment of unit test, you are working really inside of your app, so you have the same memory. It means that you could use anything from your app quite easy. So just reference it. You don't need some additional API, I don't know, web servers for this. So just if you have a reference, so you could use it. That's why it's much easier. I think that's it. Sorry, it's not so easy to hear. Could you repeat again? Yep. So in case of this shortening of your main app, you could exit really early and this way avoid of initialization of all this additional stuff, all this additional layer. So this way you could resolve losing resources on this not usable stuff. Maybe inside the test, you could also use not live services, not live networking, but some mocks. That's why this test could be quite easy.
Thank you, Dmitry.
That's it.
Thanks a lot.